So now let's get straight into it today. Good morning to you, Samson.
Good morning to you.
Samson, 100 million. It's not a joke.
Well, that's not a it's not a lot of money anyway.
It's not a
Yes, yeah, because if you think about how monies are being thrown around in the country and how figures are being announced on a daily basis, you wouldn't really blink an eye when someone talks about 100 million. But then, if you come to personal situations, you probably might feel like, oh, that's a lot of money. But when you talk about the Nigerian context and how politicians mention figures, I mean, it's not that much. So, as people will say on the street, it's not that deep. So, calm down.
You know to go far. You know to go far.
Not that far.
But okay, so let me take it a bit further. Because when you see this kind of stories, for me, what comes to mind is when you say Kogi youth, who are the people in question? If you say Kogi youth, who are the youth? You know, because you might want to, okay, so is it the youth who are gainfully employed?
The youth.
I mean, okay, so because we have to take it from there. If you mention youth in caption, are they the ones that are gainfully employed? Are they the ones that, because if you have to donate 100 million naira in this present economy, that means you have so much more to give. So you have much more than that in your coffers to say, maybe not individually, but at least every other person is okay. If you are not okay, you will not even drop in that account to say, I want to also contribute. But that's one. To whom are they contributing the money? I mean, who are they donating the money to?
The president.
I mean, also, so all of those things, because the president already has enough money. It's like pouring just a cup of water into an ocean. It's still the same, but it is a political show. That's where I'm going. Because I know, I would say that this can't be real in the real sense of it. You are giving money to somebody who has money enough. Even before he became president, there were insinuations about bullion vans in his house. I mean, so that's not even a big deal for him. So if you want to say you want to contribute and donate to the president come 2027, it's just a charade. We've seen this before. This is not even the first time. But again, I think I like it when you put it better. Because I think I was reading through comments online yesterday, and some people were asking, I'm from Kogi. Who are these youth? I've never seen them all my life. And it's okay. It's okay that you've not seen them because you can't possibly know everybody. You know, there are just some good philanthropists that would like to donate for a good cause, which is okay. If you want to donate for a good cause, there are many charitable projects you can do. I would say that they are what do you call them? They are foundations, they are IDP camps you can donate to, motherless baby, all of those places that those ones need it much more than the president, and that's where I'll be coming from to say it is not out of place to donate to for a cause, especially a good cause, right? It's not out of place. We've seen even in the United States where there was a particular group of people coming together to donate for United States president, the current president, Donald Trump. There was a trust fund that was, you know, brought up, maybe a GoFundMe kind of thing. It's okay to go to donate for people who want to go, for, you know, go for it. But I'm saying in the bigger space of and bigger scope of that is that how much of impact is this going to make? Especially to maybe to the country. If you donate, it's okay, but donate for the good cause, for better causes. There are people who need this money much more than, I know we always have to have needs in society, but can you meet the needs of society instead of meeting the needs of people because you know they can give you back? So I call this an investment. I dare say it is an investment because it's more like calling the attention of the president to say, look on us, you know, like those like Peter and the disciples were saying to one person at one of the doors to the temple, was saying, look on us, money and silver we have not, but this is what we have. And then it's more like calling for attention. President, we are here, please give us something, let us, because over time now, soon enough, you see that group of people will probably there's going to be something for them, because for whatever story they're trying to push out is political. Come 2027, everything is targeted towards the end. Everybody's trying to do something. We've seen cases where people will have to trek distances, right? They have to trek from one point to another point to say, it's because of this president that is about to become that I'm doing all of this. And all of those sacrifices can be done for some other stuff, right? But I know we see a lot of this again.
Well, I do not want to see it from that perspective. I want to see it from an area of people just trying to do what they think is right. And I'll give you evidences.
Yeah.
It is not because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the sitting president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. People are trying to seek his mercies and are probably trying to see what exactly they can actually gain from from doing all of that. We have seen it happen in the past, and a few of them. Omoyele Sowore, for example, I think that was in 2019, and even 2023 when he wanted to contest for presidency under the AAC. There was a crowdfunding platform that brought him, some money at that time, even though nobody announced how much was made or how it was spent, but it was quite clear that people raised money for him to contest for the presidency. Away from there, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and during the 2023 elections, supporters engaged in organized fundraising, including community campaigns like the Fund 40 million ballots donation drive and broader donor contributions to support his presidential ambition. They even traveled as far as the United Kingdom and the United States to source for funds for the election. It is on record. You can check it, you can fact check. Away from there, Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023 wasn't even the president. And some people raised more than 100 million naira for him to buy the APC presidential ticket at that time. And that for me, if it was done in 2023, I don't think it cannot be repeated in 2027. And that for me is just usually some of the things. Yes, I understand the fact that people will say, oh, that might be some sort of investments. You contribute and then you wait quietly to see what exactly you gain in return. That happens. Politics is about interest. People do things not because they love Nigeria, but because they feel like if I do this, what will happen in the long run? We have seen people, for example, we have business tycoons in Nigeria who would support all candidates. You go to them, they give you money. You also go to them, they give you money. They are not doing that because they feel like they have monies to throw around. But they know that for a fact, when you eventually win an election, you serve their interest. They bring you ideas, oh, why don't you work on so-so bill that suits our business and then you can profit more. That is being happened. And it is not only in Nigeria. Lobbying is done everywhere around the world, even in the US. I'll cite an instance. Recently, when Nigeria was being accused of Christian genocide, then there was a report that Nigeria paid so amount of money to a certain lobbyist to make sure that that is not the narrative in the White House in America. It is done everywhere around the world. So people lobby for things. And they don't just lobby by mouth. They lobby by cash. They lobby by, by kind too. They do things and you will like, well, for someone to have done this, well, maybe eventually when we win this election, we can easily do this. Now, some key notes to take away from there. Public fundraising by citizens, especially crowdfunding and grassroots support, is not relatively rare in Nigerian politics, but it has been visible in the more recent elections. Even Goodluck Ebele Jonathan had a fundraising dinner before the last election, which he lost. And they raised money, and that was used for the purpose of the election. How much was raised, how it was spent, I think it is only Nigeria where monies are raised, and then eventually you don't know, nobody accounts for it. But I don't want to use the usual thing people say, they say the Senate climb. We are saying here too. But then, in some advanced countries, advanced democracies, developed democracies, right? If a penny has been donated to you, you account for every penny because it's not your money. Even your own money, if you are spending it on election, you have to account for every dime you spend and how you spent it. Because at the end of the day, transparency is very much important. It's only in Nigeria that some people are taken to Code of Conduct Bureau. And then eventually nothing is done. And you see some people overestimating their assets before an election just because they know that after the election they can amass wealth. And then they can say, oh, I was worth this even before I won an election. So I don't believe the Kogi youths are trying to play politics. But then you can easily think about it in different ways.
In different ways, yeah. But Samson, let's go to the chase of political parties. In 2022, the presidential tickets for APC was set at 100 million. PDP was set at 60 million. 40 million naira. And of course, so this is where I want us to take conversation from. For House of Assembly for APC is 2 million. For House of Assembly for PDP is 600,000 naira. That was in 2022 for 2023 elections. And then again, the House of Reps was 10 million. House of Reps for PDP is 2.5 million and 3.5 million for Senate for PDP, while Senate is 20 million for APC. APC seems to be on the high side if you look across board from the push of things. But it's okay to say that.
It will be so.
Yes.
Because they're the ruling party.
Exactly. But this is exactly why we have this kind of problems. If we have to pay 100 million Naira to contest in the primaries or to get the ticket from a party, it is so much so that there's going to be a way you need to get back your money. And that's why they call it political investment. Because once you invest, you have to get your money. Investing comes with ROI. That's return on investment. You don't just get what you invested. You get much more. You get interest because you have so committed to that financially. And there has to be something concomitant to what you have submitted in terms of your money. So I keep saying, is it possible we bring down that money? Because an average person, Samson wants to contest for presidency now. You need 100 million. Samson, that's breaking your bank. You have to like pay through your nose. It's so much. That's why it's so easy for people to now say, see, whatever I see, through tooth and nail, I will make sure I get my money. Because it's okay. Everybody will understand that. Even when you get there, when you start funding funds, they will tell, okay, it's okay. You still need to amass. And sometimes people go the greedy way. They don't just take the 100 million, they don't take 200. They take billions and then trillions. Sometimes you saw what Abacha did, for example, and that was not even now that they now pay.
It's still paying us.
So we still get dividends from what Abacha has looted for so long. And you ask the question, how do these people always get to do this? But it's a systemic error, like we always say.
Some will argue with you anyway that Abacha never stole.
Well, it's still up for debates. But averagely, you've seen, if it was just that one political head or one public office holder stole, and then in another 5 years another stole, it will be acceptable maybe. But it's not acceptable because every year you see a story of somebody, Alice Madueke, you see another story, dear Zani, you see one story, you keep saying, and it's not as though those things were just allegations. Eventually, when they take it to court, but sometimes they might just settle it in court. But you understand that there's a case to be settled. So we've seen this trajectory. And it has created a kind of understanding, a narrative in the country that everybody now believes, if I get to power, I must steal. An average person who is not into politics will say, if I get a chance just to become the president one day, I'm going to take a lot of money to myself. And that's the narrative. And it's not right. It's not even, so if for example, now, let's say that maybe, because I'm trying to look at how to cut the cost of governance, right? If you don't have to pay so much and you get there, even if you are taking so much, people ask you questions. Baba, you didn't do so much to get to this point. You didn't pay like they used to pay. So why you? So I'm thinking, if they bring down those tickets, the candidacy and the presidency ticket and all of these tickets for people, maybe a lot of people would now say they want to do it more, and maybe some other people will not be able to take in as much as they are doing now from the coffers of the government.
I quite understand where you are coming from, Anu. And it is from a point of concern and on how expensive politics is in Nigeria. But then I want you to know that while it has its disadvantages, political parties will tell you there are advantages to it. You can imagine if you say presidential ticket sells for 100,000, for example, as we speak. Maybe half of Nigeria would want to be president. Now, the job now lies on the political parties because we don't have individual candidacy to now prune down the numbers. And while doing that, you prune away a lot of people, and it's really a cumbersome exercise for the political parties. And no one really wants to go through that, through that route. But however, politics in Nigeria became a mess. It has always been a mess anyway, because we have not really been practicing democracy the way others would say they practice it in developed democracies. It became a mess in 1999. And why I said that is, you would say it was a return to democratic republic, and then Nigerians would experience democracy again. But unfortunately, the moment the sitting president at that time, that was Olusegun Obasanjo, decided to please the legislators so some things could be done, which meant that constituency projects were allowed. Lawmakers were now given responsibilities to have projects. That was when the watchdogs became more or less like pets, okay? Why did I say that? Lawmakers were meant to do oversight functions, supervise projects, see how far the government has gone when it comes to budgeting and execution. Unfortunately, they have now joined the party, okay? Who is to do the oversight function if you're also doing projects? So that part of democracy died a long time ago. Now, everyone is rich, okay? You can buy anything. You have access to funds. These people get for example, you get 100 million naira for constituency project, you just come, you buy 5 grinding machines, you buy this, you buy that, you still have about 70 million naira in your account, and then you distribute all of that, you disappear. The next 3 years, nobody sees you. And then a year to the election, you come back because you think you have amassed a lot of wealth. You think you can bully everybody and buy them over. And that's what has been happening. We have so many legislators in Nigeria, especially, I will cite a number of cases in Ibadan. Nobody sees them for 3 years. And then when it is time for an election, they come back. You start seeing them masquerading themselves as the savior and messiah of the people. Unfortunately, they are not. And the people think, yes, this is the only time we can make money off you, so they take the money. So politics in Nigeria became expensive from 1999 under the Olusegun Obasanjo administration. I really do not blame subsequent presidents. Umaru Musa Yar'Adua would have been one of the best presidents in the history of Nigeria. In fact, with the agenda he had on ground, till today I still feel like he had so much to do. Unfortunately, he could not do it because of his health at that time, and eventually passed away. Now, that takes us to subsequent administrations too. We had Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, so much intent but bad structure. Too many people who never really wanted anything to be done in Nigeria were in that cabinet. We saw what the likes of Dezani Madueke and some other people did under his watch. It was during that time we got to know that chimpanzees do swallow money and snakes do swallow money. That was done in phases. Until today, nobody has really been able to prosecute anyone successfully about that. The only prosecution we are seeing now is the one being done in the UK to Dezani Alison Madueke. Now, away from there, after that, we had the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. The only thing I could see at that time was the fact that, some dead projects were resuscitated. Oh, there was meant to be a rail track here. Why don't we continue from where the last administration stopped? They did. I mean, when it comes to continuity, Buhari administration was top-notch. But unfortunately, policy was whack, in the sense that there were policies that you really do not understand where this is going. And oftentimes, you bring out a policy, and then the people say, oh, we don't want that, and then, the policy is gone. Why? Because you never really thought it through before you brought that policy. And then let's come to Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. He never promised instant miracle. He had always been saying, and over again, even during the electionary process, that we are going to go through a form of reform. And he has not desisted from saying that. He has continued to say that it's a reform, it's a process, and it's going to take time. And if you check what we've been saying in the market when it comes to reduction in food prices, I, for one, believe it's not artificial. If it is artificial, the trajectory with which it has gone down would not have been so smooth. Okay? So there has been processes in place. All I want to believe this administration is doing is that make politics less expensive. Okay? I want that to happen. But are there policies to make it happen like that? Now, a president will refrain from taking some giant steps, some decisions, because he knows that he's coming back for the second time. So he would want to be careful about decision making. And once that is done, you are giving them power to be more ruthless when it comes to stealing. And we have seen it happen over and over again. The president had to write off debts of the NNPC because he feels like there's no way we are going to get this money back. Let's just forget about it and start from, a new phase, a new chapter. And that will continue to happen if people are really afraid to take decisions. What is the role of the executive order when you are still afraid of, oh, will I win the next election if I take this step? So, when someone said there should be a single term of 8 years, a single term of 6 years, they had a reason, okay? Do that your one single term and leave. At least we'll be sure that within 6 years, you're able to do this. And you'll be ruthless with your decision making.
So there's no point thinking about how do I win the next election.
Yeah. So you will be so ruthless with your decision making. If you're a radical change maker, you
go that way.
And then you are done. But will that happen in a country like Nigeria? I don't think so.
It's really a question that we should really consider. And I was also thinking about it. If you have to look at Nigeria from the leadership perspective, you will see that we failed a lot. Because in leadership, it's also about vision, right? If there's a vision, then every other person can always come back to say, oh, yes, a vision, there's something we're working on. But we've seen a lot of continuance in project, there's continuance in policy, and this is it's become one too many in the country. That's the trajectory. If I come now, I say, okay, that project, you see, it's like it's going to make sense because some people started it, and if I do it, it will be to their account.
To their credit.
Oh, let me do it tomorrow. Let me not start it now. I'll do it later, and they don't get to do it. And then we have that moribund, we have that dilapidated, we have that deserted.
Let me cite a very big instance from this one you are saying. There was a road that led to Abeokuta from Ibadan. You are going to Abeokuta from Ibadan, right through Akpata axis.
Oh, yeah.
That road was started by the last administration in Ogun State. And for years, Governor Dapo Abiodun spent the first 4 years. He never touched that place. And then he started the next 4 years. You can imagine how bad that place is now, till now.
Yeah.
So what exactly is the governor doing when it comes to continuity? Because he had a feud with the last administration. He doesn't want to continue where that one stopped. So also, if you are a governor, a chairman, start projects you know that for a fact you are going to finish. Or you know that you are going to finish payment to these contractors and nothing will stop them from finishing this project even if I'm no longer there. But then it's a topic for another day.
Absolutely.
Continuity in governance. Let's take weather report on this show.